Okay, perfect. Hey Josh, how's it going?
Good. How about you?
It's going good, not bad. It's Friday, so here we are.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your new stand-up special. It was really funny, really good. What I loved about it most, I love the concept, kind of
Mhm.
from therapy to the stage. So where did that concept and inspiration come from for you?
I think that for me, it came from two places kind of. One was a conversation that I was having, in therapy where um, basically they just said you don't have to be funny. Like in the terms of what I was talking, because I was still kind of trying to keep it light as I was like explaining how I was feeling. And um that really stuck with me for a long time. And then um also from sometimes doing your set, doing new jokes and everything, and finding that you're kind of letting everything spill out, but there's not a joke there yet, and bridging those two things together. Because I think that for me, um, both ended up really being the reason where I am today, and what made me who I am today. So I've used both of them equally to, sort of get a better sense of myself and to grow and to process things.
I love that. Do you find it therapeutic, kind of being on stage and letting it all out? Is that therapeutic for you?
Yeah, definitely. I think that it's literally the last step for me when I'm over something. I think when I can do jokes about it, and when I can talk to people about it openly to a bunch of strangers, that's when I'm like fully realized in that, like, I've moved past this thing. And sometimes I'm just excited to share new perspective with people, because it's there's billions of us and we still don't understand how many of us feel the same, you know?
That is true. Josh, you're not new to this. You used to be a writer for Fallon and writing for the Trevor Noah show. So for you, what comes easier? Is it writing behind the scenes, or is it going on stage in front of a bunch of people and letting them into your world, kind of?
I mean, they're both so different in a sense. I think that for writing, there's something where there's a freedom with writing, because you're usually not the person saying the thing. So you're lending your talents to someone else's voice, and you're trying to marry these two talents together to come up with a joke that is a hybrid of your sensibility and what they think, and what they would like to say. Whereas with stand up, you sort of like live and die by everything that you're talking about. And so obviously I always want to be better at both, and I want to do more with both, but get I really want to get to a level of mastery with stand up that I watch people now where I'm like, that's really special. What they're doing is really special, or what they're what they're thinking about, and the levels that they're thinking is really special. And so I want to grow and get bigger and better at that, more than anything else.
I think you're definitely growing. In 2021, you had your first comedy special, and now we have this special. So for you, is there anything that changed for you between then and now?
Yeah, I think I started to think more about performance than just writing. I think that for so long I was this writer that was seen as a writer, and so I was only ever focused on the wording of the joke and everything. And now I'm paying much more attention and looking closer at how I say things and how I talk to people, in how I deliver things, and if that is getting across the message the best way. And I've always kind of been trying to do that, but I think gaining a real understanding of how to do it is something that's been a little bit more recent.
Nice. You go on tour and you do comedy on tour. Do you have a city that's your favorite? And do you have a city that, I don't want to say your least favorite, but maybe, you know, sometimes, the audience might be a little too much. Is there a city for you like that?
I'm trying to think. So I'm always going to be a bit biased and be partial to Chicago, because that's where I came up and everything. So I love going back home. And then a city that I'm trying to think. Okay, this was not the city's fault.
Okay.
This was not, they did not do anything to me, but I did have a particularly horrible touring experience in Detroit.
Mm.
And so like it's not the people. They were
Right.
great. The people at the show were great. I want to make that clear.
Shout
But
out to Detroit.
the everything else from like the hotel to where I walked to get to I was like, I'm in a bad situation. Like this is not good at all.
Speaking of bad situations, I'm from New York. You live in New York City, and a lot of people want to live in New York City. What are
Yeah.
three things you would probably tell people about New York that people may not know?
Okay. Yeah. No, I got you. So if the train car is empty, it's empty for a reason. Don't get on. Don't
Seriously.
don't do that to yourself at all. Also, there's not a dystopia happening. We're not the apocalypse. The trash is supposed to be in the street. Um,
Facts.
also, trying to think of okay, trying to word this right. Some of the best food that you will have, some though. So some places that look dirty are just dirty. But there are some places where maybe it's family owned or the only thing they can focus on is the food. There are some places that are going to look dirty that will have the best food that you've ever had. But it looks, I get you. I'm fully with you. When I moved from Chicago, I felt the same way. It looks very dirty in there, but I guarantee you their chopped cheese is great.
Chef kiss. It's
Yeah.
always the hole in the walls have the best food in New York City, in my opinion, as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, some of them are just dirty. I've
Yeah.
been in some, you don't want to use dirtiness as a marker for what's good. I'm just saying there's a Venn diagram happening where some of the dingiest places also have the best food. So you have to be careful.
You do, but we love New York sometimes.
Yeah.
I live in LA now, so it is
Yeah.
very interesting to always go home and visit. And I'm like, wow, it's different when you come back to visit New York.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine, especially as someone who grew up here, you've
Yeah.
probably had your fill of a lot of the stuff that a person puts up with.
Yes.
Whereas like I think if I were to move to LA now, I don't know if I would be done with New York in a
Right.
sense. Does that make
Yes.
sense? Like I think I
Yes.
could move right back if I moved to LA.
Oh, I love New York. I'm probably gonna move back. Greatest city, but I'm biased. I'm from New York. It's
No,
girls
I'm with
trip,
you, but
you know.
also I'm not, and
Right.
you're still pretty right. It's a tough. Sometimes it's tough for no reason. I've
Whew.
watched it be tough for no reason, but
Yes.
also it's like, no, it is great.
It's great.
Yeah,
We love it.
yeah.
Do you know in the MTA where we hear the if you see something, say something? For you, is there any time in a moment for you when you've seen something and you're like, nope, this is none of my business. I just feel like I'm just gonna keep it moving, like most New Yorkers.
That I mean, that is most days. I would say that like one thing that I've watched happen, okay, is that to me, New York is like, do you remember when you were little and you had a friend who you loved dearly, but they clearly had a bad home life?
Yes.
That is what New York feels like. It feels like a friend that you love, but you're also like, you're not okay at
Yeah.
all. And so sometimes when I'm on the train, yeah, I'll see something that I'm like, there's no reason to make this a thing. They're almost done doing whatever drug that is, you know?
Facts. I think sometimes you just have to mind your business in New York City.
Yeah, I
Sometimes.
don't even look up often when I'm
Yeah.
now that I know where I'm going when I leave, I don't need to look at the map, so I don't look around. Why would I do that? That's rude to him. He's trying to smoke meth right now, you
And
know?
that's why you're a true New Yorker because we mind our business and we go to work and we keep it moving.
Yeah, the amount of people not from here that I've watched try to what's the best way? This is gonna sound bad, but like the amount of people you can tell someone's a tourist when they try to help someone immediately. And it's like New Yorkers only help when we're sure you're not crazy.
Yeah.
Like if a person's out on the street and needs help and they've like hurt themselves, right? There's still going to be a moment where you're like, what's the date today? Who's the president? And then you're like, okay, let me do something, you know? But like I've watched people run up and I'm like, they might bite. You have no
Yo,
idea.
they might hit you with something.
Yeah.
We have to figure it out and
You
let
got to
them do
give it a second. I'm not saying don't help. You got to give it a quick second.
you got to give it
Assess
a
the
beat.
situation. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's why I love Josh. Not only are you a funny comedian and a writer, you also have two podcasts. So tell us a little bit about your podcast.
So I have my podcast, which is the Josh Johnson Show. It comes out every Thursday wherever you get your podcasts, and that is like the best way I can describe it is essentially like a living memoir where I'm just been telling stories about my life and everything. And it imagine if your memoir was sort of like roasted by one of your best friends, because then my co-host is constantly like, why would you wow, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Why would you do that? You know what I mean? And so it's not as if it's just me sort of going on and on about my life in a way that's like a Gone with the Wind type novel. It's more just me telling, one of my really good friends things that he doesn't know about me and then him sort of reacting to them. And then my other podcast is called Hold Up. It's with Dulce Sloan. And we do it with the Daily Show podcast. And it's us every Thursday where we get your podcast sort of arguing about different topics. So we'll go back and forth on like, chocolate versus vanilla, club bangers versus conscious rap. So it's everything top to bottom, the full spectrum of diametrically opposed topics we'll talk about.
Nice. I love it. It's hilarious. I've listened to both of your podcasts. So we have the comedy special coming out on Peacock. Such a weird word. Peacock. Where can people find you? Are you going back on tour? Are you touring? Where can people come and find you?
Yeah, so I am doing a tour right now. It's called the Freshman Tour. And if you go to joshjohnsoncomedy.com, you'll be able to get tickets for all the upcoming cities. I'm going to be in Oklahoma City. I'm going to be in Dayton, Ohio. I'm going to be in Kansas City. I'm going to be all around. So there's more dates that are about to get announced. So get your tickets there. And I look forward to seeing everybody.
Awesome. Well, Josh, thank you so much. It was nice speaking to you.
Thank you too. I appreciate you.